Hi, I'm Cral. Azuz. Good to see you today. There's a significant change ahead for the U.S. House of Representatives, and that's the first story we're explaining this Thursday on CNN 10. Since 2015, Paul Ryan, a Republican from the state of Wisconsin, has led the House of Representatives as House Speaker. The majority party in the House chooses its Speaker. And the position's important not only for its House leadership, but because it's also in line to the presidency, behind the President and Vice President. Speaker Ryan played a major role in the Republican tax reform bill that was signed into law last December. He's helped roll back banking rules that were enacted under Democratic leadership. And he's helped the Republican Party raise funding for the upcoming midterm elections this fall. So why did he announce yesterday that he'd leave the House at the end of his term in January?
Look, you all know me. I didn't take this job to get the gavel in the first place. I'm not a guy who thinks about it like that. This really was two things. I have accomplished much of what I came here to do, and my kids aren't getting any younger. And if I stay, they're only going to know me as a weekend dad, and that's just something I consciously can't do. And that's really it right there.
Speaker Ryan hasn't always seen eye to eye with President Trump, though they're both Republicans. And some political analysts say Democrats have a good chance of winning control of the House in November's midterm elections. So they see Speaker Ryan's departure as a bad sign for Republicans. Ryan says he's confident that Republicans will keep control of the House, but that he doesn't think the individual elections will depend on whether he stays on as Speaker. Ryan's been in Congress since 1999. He was the Republican nominee for Vice President in 2012, though he wasn't elected. Some Democrats joined Republicans in praising Paul Ryan's work as House Speaker. Okay, next story today. Slavery is not a thing of the past. It may be illegal the world over, but it still goes on in several different forms. And since 2011, CNN's Freedom Project has worked to inform of where and how people are still being enslaved or trafficked, to amplify the voices of survivors, and to pressure governments to eliminate slavery. A group of high school students in Virginia has taken up the cause.
Smithfield, Virginia is a very rural, family-based town. The sense of community is a very big part of our local culture and identity. My name is Matt Floyd. I'm a teacher of U.S. VA government at Smithfield High School. All right, buddy. Morning. How we doing? Good. My first day on this job, about a year and a half ago, my new department head asked me, what do you know about human trafficking? And have you given any thought to making that your project-based learning topic? And the answer was nothing and no and sure. I jumped into it and, haven't looked back. I like that. Convinced. The Prevention Project is a nonprofit organization, and they provide a curriculum for us to teach human trafficking in a very real world sense to high school kids. Our students are taking the information they're getting, and they're taking it off the PowerPoint, they're taking it out of the textbook, and they're addressing it in the real world. They are making sure their congressmen, their senators, and their government officials know what they're learning and know what they expect for them to do about this problem. And they've actually pushed for events in the community to help bring awareness to the community about how serious this is in our area.
And in every single state in America, there's been a case of human trafficking.
We decided to put together a presentation to help raise awareness of human trafficking, the goal being to try to convince local lawmakers to institute education on human trafficking into the local curriculum across the board in all middle schools and or high schools in the county. If this one classroom can make this big a difference and this one classroom can have this much of an impact, what can an entire school system do? The one thing the kids said is we want to meet somebody that's really had to live with this, that's had to deal with this.
My name is Monica, and I am a human trafficking survivor.
Having Monica come in has inspired the kids and made it real. Now it's not something you read about or see on a movie. It's somebody flesh and blood standing right in front of you. And I felt it was important for them to see firsthand and hear a story and not be able to turn the other way.
When Monica came and spoke to us, that's when I got the idea of writing monologues to show what the different views are.
Check every piece of my body.
I decided to take her story and to put it into words from my point of view of what it would be like if I was in her shoes.
Monica was a part of my inspiration. I don't want this happening to anyone else. It needs to stop. Things need to change, and we can't just be that person that sits and watch. We need to do something about it. We want better, we want change.
I have found such a passion in this problem that I now want to take that onto my college career and be able to make a change not only in my community here, but future communities that I'm going to be a part of.
I
wrote a song I call The Sale of Your Sister.
I didn't say enough, gun was to his head.
Just being chosen to perform or just share my piece, it's an honor.
My students humble me on a day-to-day basis. My students tend to push things further than what I anticipate seeing them going. They have a drive that I couldn't have imagined before I started doing this. My students are rock stars.
10-second trivia. Which element, which forms more compounds than any other, is represented by an atomic number of 6? Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, or oxygen? C is for carbon, an element found in everything from petroleum to people. Carbon black, a form of carbon made by partially burning the element, is found in everything from car tires to makeup to printer ink. There's some debate over whether carbon black is harmful to humans. Some studies say it depends on the type of exposure. But concerns about it are part of the reason why Shema Al-Kassab is working on a way to make ink without carbon black.
I am really crazy about the environment, and you would find this in any chemical engineer. We really strive to make this planet a better place using more sustainable and renewable resources to make products.
My name is Shema Al-Kassab and I'm 22 years old.
In 2016, it was the Innovation Week in the United Arab Emirates, and everyone was calling for thinking out of the box and creating new things.
As chemical engineering students, we print a lot of lectures. So we thought, how about making a small portable printer that's eco-friendly? We're developing the printer, and then we said, okay, how about the ink that the printer is going to use? It contains something known as carbon black, which is the pigment. It gives like the black color on the paper that you print on.
We thought, how about replacing that carbon black with something from nature?
This is working good for my experiment. It's known as chlorella.
So what we're doing is we're replacing the carbon black with the green algae, as algae has pigments.
Here we grow our algae, and we make them ready so that we can extract the pigments from the algae and take it to the next step.
And we dry it, and then when it's dried, we add some natural ingredients to it. We test the product, and it goes through a certain process so that it's like nice and fine. And then we add it to the ink cartridge, and we test it if it's printing or not. And it's having the same function, so we're moving towards the vision of sustainability and in the UAE, and Alga Life is moving along with it. We believe in that the future will be written with algae.
A squirrel recently fell out of a tree in western New York. Why would that make news? Because she broke her little leg and needed a little cast. Yes, there are casts for squirrels, as you can see in this video from the Orphaned Wildlife Center. A windstorm knocked the animal's nest out of a tree, and when a woman saw that the baby squirrel was injured, she took her to a local vet. Doctors say she's going to be just fine in a couple weeks. Well, why rodent she be? She's been whiskered away and cast in both a video and a plaster, and as long as she doesn't get too squirrely before she heals, she'll have quite a tale to tell. I'm Cral Azuz, and that's all the chattering we've got time for on CNN 10. We'll treat you tomorrow.